Kia ora koutou katoa. Welcome everyone to the ACE RMO 2024 Tauranga webinar. My name is Georgina. I'm the ACE RMO consultant. We're going to start off with an opening karakia, and then I'll give everyone a brief outline of today's webinar. Matt, over to you.
Nā tātou, I te tuatahi ka mihi atu kia koutou katoa, nā tangata kua hui a zui mai nei, me karika tātou. He honorihi korore ki te atua, he maungaronga ki te whenua, he whakaaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Hanga e te atua, he nākau haukiro te tēnā o tātou, whakatonga e te wairua tapu, whakaawhina, whakatongia hoki i te aroha, i te mai e, I roto I tēnei hui, tūtere whakamaua kia tīna, haumie, hui e, tai ki e.
Thank you, Matt. So thank you everyone for taking the time to join today's webinar. We'll move on to the panelists' introduction shortly, and then we have an exciting video for you to watch, which is followed by a presentation presented by our panelists. And then our RMOs will tell you a bit more about their experiences as a PGY1 at Tauranga Hospital. Towards the end of the webinar, we will have a live Q&A session, and finally, we will close off with a closing karakia. Just a reminder to all participants, all questions can be dropped in the chat box below your screen. You can put them through as we go throughout the webinar, but they will only be answered during the Q&A session towards the end of the webinar.
Because I'm at this side and I've already started. Tēnā koutou. Ko aore ki te manga, ko waita ki te awa, ko kaitahu ka te mamwe waitaha o ku iwi. My name is Matt Wheeler. I am a general physician and hematologist. Oh, I'm actually associate CMO at the moment because I love myself so much. I'm a pre-vocational educational supervisor and I'm just super passionate about making sure that we have the right people in our hospital because I love coming to work every day and I want people to share that with me. So I'm looking forward to having a chat with you.
Kia ora, I'm Alistair. I'm an ED physician and also one of the pre-vocational education supervisors. And again, mostly the reason I'm doing this is so that we can get the right people here to join our whānau and also then be part of our colleagues further on down the line.
Kia ora tātou, my name is Mel. I am the RMO unit manager. So I am in charge of the workforce that comes through the door and making sure you guys have all the support you need, including the pastoral care.
Kia ora, I'm Diane. I spent most of last year going walkabout, but I'm back this year again, and I'm the new Director of Clinical Training. So very excited about being able to work with everybody coming up in the future. Like I said, we are really looking for good, excited, passionate people where we can really help grow and nurture them along their careers.
Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Sydney tōku ingoa, here ho no te Atiawa Ngāti Kuata me Ngāi Tahu hoki. Kia ora everyone, I'm Sydney and I'm a PGY1.
Kia ora everyone, I'm Monique, I'm also a PGY1.
Kia ora, I'm Blair, I'm joining from Zoom. I'm a PGY2 at Tauranga Hospital.
Kia ora, I'm Donna Watkins, I'm the Student Placement Coordinator looking after the meet and greets.
Thank you, everyone. Lovely to have you all here. I will now share the video.
Hi guys, I'm Olivia. I'm one of the new house surgeons at Tauranga Hospital. I'm an Otago student and I've just started this year. One of the main reasons why I picked Tauranga Hospital is because of both the learning opportunities here and also the lifestyle that the Bay of Plenty provides. There's ample things to do in the region, and alongside that is the environment at the hospital is really collaborative and everyone is very approachable.
Kia ora, I'm Tremaine Mako. I'm one of the PGY1 house officers here at Tauranga Hospital. Just wanted to talk a bit about, I guess, the prospect of coming to work here at Tauranga. So originally I'm from Bluff. I grew up far south from here. It's actually my partner who is a local that I've come up here and decided to park up and live here. I think a large part of this hospital and what past doctors have spoken to is that it's a very supportive and good environment for you to develop as a doctor, as well as a professional starting off work and finishing a long journey at university. I think a lot of people are tied to the idea of the lifestyle. Obviously it's a lovely place here in the Bay, but I think a really good part of this is that people here that you work with believe in fostering your growth as a doctor, but also believe in your potential to be a good one too.
Kia ora, my name's Tim. I'm one of the PGY2 second year house officers working at Tauranga Hospital. I'm an Otago grad. I'm originally from Palmerston North. That's where I was born and bred. Just going to talk to you guys a little bit about my experience and why I chose Tauranga and why I came up here. I think many of you guys have probably been here before, and as you guys all know, the Bay of Plenty is beautiful. There's the mount, and the location of Tauranga is really ideal. That's definitely a big factor why I chose Tauranga. Also had a couple of close friends and a bit of family up here that I could have support on. Things that I thought that would have been helpful, especially as an Otago grad, and making this decision, and what I think would help the application is also on your ACE website there should be contact emails that you can email to visit the hospital if you're interested, and obviously then visit the region. I think Otago is quite lenient in terms of giving you time to visit the hospitals, so definitely take those opportunities.
Kia ora, I'm Michael. I'm one of the PGY2s here at Tauranga Hospital. Currently I'm working in the ED, and I have been for the last 3 months. Originally I'm from Hawke's Bay, studied in Auckland, and I'm an Auckland grad, and I did my last year of study, my TI year here at Tauranga, which is one of the reasons that drove me to apply and want to work here. So in your PGY2 year, there's more opportunities, more attachments than your PGY1 year that you can choose to do. So in terms of medical attachments, we have cardiology and oncology. In terms of the surgical attachments, you can continue to do surgery or orthopedics, but there's also urology and ENT/opthal house officer jobs. There's an ED job that you can do, and there's also a variety of community attachments that people really enjoy. So there's opportunities for GP for 3 months, sexual health, palliative care, and public health, with a rural attachment in Te Kaha, which is on the east coast past Whakatane, and that's an opportunity to spend 3 months in a very rural and isolated place with a great community there, and the people that have done it have really loved it and enjoyed it and said that's the best part of their first 2 years of being a house officer. So there's so many opportunities for you going into the future. Cool.
I think if I was in your guys' shoes a year ago, which I was, I think the main thing I'd be thinking about being an Otago grad, which I was I guess how you want to do your cover letter and how you're going to appear, I guess, in terms of your references and your runs leading up into the application process.
So alongside Tauranga being a really amazing place to live, the hospital provides a really great environment for learning opportunities. Because it's a smaller hospital than some of the bigger tertiary centres, there's more opportunities to develop your procedural skills and to perhaps be doing procedures that in other bigger hospitals you wouldn't be able to do.
Kia ora, my name's Julia. I'm one of the new grads here in Tauranga. I'm an Otago graduate. I studied in Dunedin for the first 3 and then Christchurch for my next 3 years. I chose to come back here to Tauranga because I'm from here, I was born and raised here, and I heard that it had a really good community feel to it, so I was pretty keen to come back. I think something that's really stood out to me here in Tauranga is the social aspect. Coming from a bigger centre before, I've found it really noticeable how kind of collegial everyone is. And one of the coolest bits is every day everyone meets up and has lunch together. There's always someone around that you can ask questions and have support from, which I think is really important. Something else is we've already had quite a few social events, which is really good. There's been bowls events and boat parties and lunches and potlucks, which is really cool to kind of get to know your colleagues and feel really well supported. Something else that I've noticed that's really cool is the cultural support as well. So there's a Māori and Pacific group here, which meets every month, and there's kind of social events and also more support stuff within the hospital. So it's really nice to kind of have that cultural support too.
What was it like adjusting to work here at Tauranga Hospital as a Otago grad and never kind of worked here before? Kind of like any other hospital, things are kind of slightly different, and different paperwork and different admin. There are lots of Auckland trainee intern grads as well who actually end up working here, and they're often quite helpful, but usually kind of after your first couple of weeks up to a month, everything's kind of second nature and you're quite happy to work here, and you don't really feel like you're kind of behind on any of your other colleagues either. Hope this all helped in terms of your choice and wanting to come here, and hope to see you guys in the future.
Cool. Thank you to the team who put that together. We'll now move on to the presentation.
So welcome to our presentation. And basically what we just want to go through is how we actually look for you guys and work out through the ACE process. Hopefully you all are aware of what the ACE side of it is. We are, these are who we are, we've all introduced ourselves, and not from tourism board, that's generally one of our photos. I should put DHG. So first of all, you're going to rank us, and then ACE will give us the ranking from you. We get a lot of information about you, looking at your references, looking at what you write on those things. So we will look at everything that you send us: cover letters, CVs, references, your personal interest, cultural identity, and academics will come into it a bit. It's quite a lot of information to go through, and we all sort of sit down as a panel to then try and work out who we are going to shortlist for that, because we will interview a number. If you don't get interviewed, ACE make us rank up to 100 people, so it's not necessarily the end of the world. We will have up from that. We will rank and shortlist the top, and then you will end up, there will be people ranked outside of that. Then we interview, and hopefully you're all aware of that, and we'll do it face-to-face, by phone, internet, wherever you are, whatever works on the day. Sometimes it doesn't work so well on the day and we end up on the phone, but hopefully everyone is now used to Skype voice.
Voice over internet protocol, for those who don't understand what VoIP is. We're probably showing our age.
Oh, 10! I don't know. Well,
Teams,
well,
Zoom.
I know, unfortunately, it depends whichever program the DHB actually lets us use, which will be Teams this year, and we will probably use Zoom as our backup.
We have interviewed people in foreign countries,
Yeah. But we can actually tell what day the interviews are because we've set that already, haven't we?
Yeah.
We'll quickly look at that up, and then you'll at least know when our interviews are.
Yeah.
And then that gives we generally have 2 days of it to make sure that you get a chance to be able to do that. The ranking depends on an absolute combination of all those things, and also contact with us because we get a lot of information from the RMO unit, from Donna, and and that doesn't have to be a visit. 6th and 8th of August is when we are hoping to interview. So if you are an elective, don't worry. And it's great because we feel like we've visited the world when if you're away doing that. But having an internet connection is a good idea. So you don't have to visit. However, the visit isn't just about us selecting, it's also about you selecting us. And if you're going to be here for 2 years working, and so you should know that this is a place that you can work, be supported and happy, which is what we're trying to aim to do, and give you the best foundation for your medical career. However, we know that when you're visiting, it's you looking at us as much as us looking at you. If you can't visit, Otago, it is difficult to get here from there. Then again, contact, ask us questions, we will answer. We are generally all quite approachable. Then we put our ranking in. You've already given your ranking. ACE match it up, and hopefully it all matches up and everyone gets exactly where they want to do. We are looking, as we said, we're looking for people who want to be here, who are going to join us and then join us for the long term, who are going to be our future GPs, vascular surgeons, psychiatrists. We're not just thinking about you as a junior doctor. We're trying to think as what are you going to come to do to help us with our community, and what can we do for you? Which is all of those things. When you start, we will orientate you. It'll be a 5-day orientation. 7 days will be a bit long. Over the weekend as well. Which should set you up to try and understand where we are, what we're doing, the expectations. We have enough community runs to manage for everyone that's coming, including the fact there's an extra group of people coming out this year. I think next year's even bigger. And as Michael said in that, we've got community runs in palliative care, sexual health, and we will have St. John's, a GP, sexual health, and what have I missed?
Public health,
And
rural and urban GP.
Yeah. So we have a vast array of them, and so we will manage to get you through those. We also aim to do things like everyone coming through PGY2 will, at the end of it, have completed the serious illness discussion certificates, and then when you're a registrar, you're able to do those things. We try to support and train for Maori, Cook Island, for Pacifica, so we have a good support network for that. It's about a complete package for us and for you. And then, hopefully after that, you come back and be registrars and future doctors.
In the past, we used to just do 1 or 2 years here, and then you would go away and no one would ever hear from you. And we've had, in the last few years, we've had a significant expansion in what necessarily you can do here. There is ICU available as a registrar now. ED has training. Medicine has almost all training with 100% pass rates on average year to year for our physician trainees. We've got a full psychiatric training program. Multiple people go away to become GPs, urgent care, where in the olden days, it used to be come for 1 year and learn how to surf, and now we're looking for people who have a slightly longer term view. Doesn't mean that you can't have an interest in surfing, just means we really are looking for people with a slightly longer term view. We really do. We want to invest in you, and you therefore want to invest in us. For those who are, from a Māori and Te Ao Māori perspective, I run a peer support group for all Māori doctors that are and to try and create that support network. And so therefore people who are interested in certain careers, therefore we can funnel you into mentorship with various different people. We have a psychiatrist, an orthopedic surgeon, a general surgeon, a dermatologist, a me, and so we've got and I like to think, because I'm the one talking, that we're really supportive. But the proof of the pudding is in the experience that we provide. We believe we are a training centre first and foremost, and service is a secondary consideration. And I think that's something that we're losing into Whatuora in today's day and age. And that's all aspects, not just clinical, but it is cultural as well.
Also drop into your classes.
Yeah.
It's all very well us telling you what it's like. The other thing that people are on here, we've got Blair online, and Sydney and Monique here, who are actually doing the job at the moment. So it'd be a good idea to give them a chance to actually tell you what it's like. Although we are sat here as well.
Yeah, well, we've just completed our first run, and I did feel genuinely really supported by my seniors. You know, it was a bit of troubleshooting at the start, but everyone's in it together, and I think it's a really nice environment to start your work.
Yeah, I did my 5th year in Tauranga, and then I was up in Waitemata last year for TI. So when I was looking at applying at jobs last year, Tauranga was always at the forefront of my mind after coming here in 5th year. But there were a few things that really stood out to me. A lot of them have already been mentioned: the collegiality and the supportive community in the hospital. But also, again, already mentioned, the environment that you live in as well is something that's really important to me, and the ability to maintain a good work-life balance in Tauranga is kind of better than anywhere else I've lived. So not only in Tauranga, but also around. So you've got the Coromandel just down the road almost, Whakatane, the West Coast and things as well. So that's definitely something I was considering when I was looking at applying for jobs too. But then also, like Matt has mentioned, something that really gave Tauranga a point of difference for me was Te Mininga, which is the Māori support group. A lot more smoothly run than other Māori support groups I've been a part of in the past. So yeah, those are the main things I was looking at when coming to Tauranga, and very grateful to have the opportunities I've had so far.
Yeah, just adding on pretty much what Sydney and Monique have said. It's just like a really supportive environment, and I think I quite like the collegiality amongst everyone, not just doctors, but like nursing staff, orderlies, charge nurse managers. Like, you feel really, really a part of the team. And people really social outside of work as well. So people do like social netball teams. Like, I think I've played the ED social netball team before, like against them. Everyone's real keen to hang outside of work and put the mahi in when it needs to be done at work. You also come across many other like RMOs who have been here for a really long time. So when I did my TI run, my registrar had literally been there for 6 years, and she just left to do oncology training down in Christchurch. But it was pretty cool to hear her say, I've stayed here for like 7-8 years and I've just loved every minute of it. And now I've been here 3 years and it's kind of going quick. I think I also quite like anyone. I've talked to a friend who's in Wellington Hospital per se, and they do a general medical run, and all the kind of interesting parts of medicine kind of get taken away by subspecialties, which doesn't really happen at Tauranga. So, you know, you'll be on a general medical team with a respiratory interest, and so you're able to get good skills in respiratory. Same with endocrinology, geriatrics, like a little bit of hematology. Like Matt does general medicine, but likes heme patients, so he'll take them on. So you really get good skills as a junior doctor that will just set you up for life. Whereas I feel like in a bigger centre, you actually miss out on those skills. You step up to a registrar and then it's quite a huge jump. Whereas stepping up to a registrar here is quite an easy transition. So I've loved most of it. I just finished my ED run. I'm currently on public health, and that's going good.
Cool. Thank you so much. Is there anything you guys want to add on?
Because there's a few of the questions that actually are probably quite relevant to. I mean, we could probably answer the first one from anonymous attendee. Are individuals able to complete more than one community run across PGY 1-2? Technically, yes. It depends on whether we have enough to do. Because if we need to get everyone the opportunity to do it, and so if that's the priority. And if there's some that's left over, then maybe it's possible, but that will be on a year-by-year basis and working out what people want to do, and a sort of training basis. Not impossible.
Yeah. I think we had somebody once do the rural GP option and do the sexual health one.
Exactly.
But I think they did go into an SHO position for the second one. Yeah.
Is there a next one again from an anonymous attendee who's clearly a good question asking questions? Is there a ratio of quota for Auckland or Otago grads? Absolutely not. I tend to forget where you've come from when I'm looking through the whole thing. We just roughly end up with 50-50, but that's just by chance rather than any benefit or design.
We do look at the end in terms of male to female ratios. Certainly last year we were very aware that we had an all-male interviewing panel, and so we had to be very open to our own biases in terms of what we were doing. So we do generally look at what our ratios are, but yeah, to be fair, we don't really care where you come from, even, and I have to swallow my own because Auckland is the better medical school. No, there is no specific ratio. It's the best people for the job, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Just remembering Christchurch also has a medical school, so they also are welcome.
Yeah.
Olivia mentioned in Roadshow video that there are ample opportunities for learning throughout the year as a junior doctor. Could you please explain a little bit more about what this looks like, i.e. teaching sessions for house officers, or is this just informal teaching opportunistic sessions? So I'm going to let these guys answer that because they attended, and then we'll add what other things happen in PGY2.
I think this can be applied to many areas. So for me, something that's important to me is upskilling myself in terms of my Māori timer. So attending the Te Mininga meetings and going to the te reo lessons that are weekly as well, or fortnightly at the moment, and then kapahaka the alternating week. So that's something for me that is a teaching opportunity and a learning opportunity. As well as on the wards, it's quite hands-on as a house officer. So there's plenty of opportunities to practice your procedural skills, putting in catheters, doing lines, and then occasionally you'll have a consultant, if you're lucky, who grabs you to help you with a chest drain and things like that. So in terms of those learning opportunities, there's ample amounts of that, but we do have weekly house officer teaching as well, which is a protected 1 hour every Thursday.
Yep.
Yes, every Thursday. And during that time, it's called a no page hour. So the nurses aren't allowed to disturb you with pages, or any other MDT aren't allowed to. And we often have really helpful topics, like we had one on hypotension, palliative care, and a variety of really good learning during those hours, as well as radiology teaching on a Wednesday too, which is run by the radiology registrars. And that's also something really helpful to upskill ourselves when we're on our on-call shifts and things like that. But just, I guess, being a junior doctor in general is a good learning opportunity and a very steep learning curve. So you definitely soak up a lot on the job. Yeah.
And because we're like a smaller cohort, I think we're like 21, there's a lot of opportunity to ask for what teaching we want. So those weekly Thursday sessions, a lot of it's also driven by like what we feel like we would like teaching on, and then they can arrange a consultant or registrar or whoever to teach us on what we actually want to know about.
And that is the teaching continues, and there's a program in PGY2 as well. So we try to have like introductory stuff in PGY1, and then like more advanced stuff in PGY2. And then depending on, like in PGY2, you'll get to do things like ED, and the community runs, and they tend to have their own teaching. So ED has teaching on Wednesdays. Surgical teams have teaching as well. So we try to do a lot of formal training, as well as Blair said, there's a lot of informal training, and you get a lot of widespread because you're not stuck in a speciality. So you'll get a lot of general. We also have really good registrars who are generally quite good at teaching and generally quite supportive, and that's because that's what we want, that's what our culture is, and that's what we try to promote.
Diane, do you want to mention courses?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and of course, as a PGY1, you won't have the opportunity to go to many courses. But we are now in our revamping the whole thing, trying to streamline it. So in your beginning in your PGY2 year, you have the opportunity to go to different educational courses around New Zealand and do things like basics course or the scripts course, or you can start going to outside educational courses depending on where your interests are and where you think you want to end up. And we try to make sure that we support you in that. Also, if you want to do a diploma, we have lots of different diplomas available, and we try to support you in that as well.
Particularly PEDS and ONG. So there are PGY2 ONG and PEDS jobs which allow you to do diplomas in both of those because they're 6-month jobs.
Yeah.
So if those are things that you need to do. So in short, there's lots of opportunities. We're trying to create what you need to do, and we're open to hearing what you need. The other thing is an orientation. As with most other places, we will put you through the ACLS course, mostly because of a medical council requirement. But it also means that right at the start, you get what happens in Tauranga on a resuscitation, so that when you start the next week, you're like, I've got this.
Right. The other thing that's required is a Titiriti update course and cultural competence course.
I think Blair's got something to add to that as well.
Oh yeah, just I mean, adding to the point, you also have radiology teaching. Generally happens either weekly or fortnightly, and you can kind of go to them and they'll generally ask like, what do you want to do? And you'll be like, oh, I want to look at abdo x-rays and go through like query obstruction or interesting like CT scans or CTPAs looking at PEs. And then just adding on to the fact that we're a small centre, so you generally get to know your medical registrars, surgical registrars, orthopedic registrars really well. Same with ONG and PEDS. So often you can just ask them like, hey, there's a cool procedure you're doing. Do you mind me doing it? Like on my night shift just before, I said to the urology reg, like, actually, can I irrigate this guy's like catheter? Because I haven't done it and I'm really keen to give it a go. Or can I do this suturing? Can I do this? Like everyone's really happy for you to get on board and upskill yourself in that way, which I just don't think you'll get at a bigger centre because everyone's kind of bottlenecking and fighting to get those opportunities. Whereas there's plenty of opportunities here for you to get involved with.
Hopefully that's answered that. The next one from an anonymous attendee again is wondering if you don't get matched with us, is there another opportunity to reapply, and if so, when? Absolutely. There's always people who are out of sequence because they've broken limbs, been pregnant, part-time, or whatever. So the key thing is just to keep in contact with us, or say, actually, I'm really disappointed. I really want, and then if that's, if you, because as I said at the start, is that just because you didn't get an interview, we've likely shortlisted you anyway. But and there's some people who unfortunately we don't tend to shortlist people who, or in fact, because of who are not nationals, who're not citizens. You can still apply, and that they are often people who then end up not being matched to anyone. So we'll try and get them later if we can. Anything to add to that? From the RMO unit point of view, anything that helps from you guys?
Jobs are advertised all the time. That's probably what I would frame.
Absolutely.
We're at least 2 or 3 health surgeons short now.
Yeah.
So the ability to reapply in your second year, and just because you're on ePort somewhere else, you can transfer your ePort to this hospital. So you're not fixed where you are for a couple of years. So just keep an eye out on the advertisements and apply. And sometimes it's actually probably easier out of sequence to rather than in a mass application.
Yeah.
And sometimes
I know too.
People leave earlier than we're expecting, so there's those opportunities just for unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, I know 2 people who applied who literally have jobs in Q3, one that we interviewed and one that we didn't. So, I mean, like these guys say, you're all kind of bottlenecking, trying to get a job, and then actually later in the year, the opportunities open up. So it actually might be a good time being like, I've got a job starting Q3, maybe I'll go do a little bit of travel before I start, or, I'll start another job somewhere else and hopefully come here a bit later.
Next question is, what is the food like? I'm going to pass that
better than it used to be, but
yeah. To our resident literary and restaurant crickets.
always good.
Preach.
I'm not gonna lie, but it's also not great, so can't really complain though.
Protein bars and nuts.
Anything to add to that?
Freezer food.
Me, oh yes. So the night meals are actually delicious. So we've got Jess's underground kitchen, which I don't think has happened anywhere else. And it is so tasty.
That's great feedback for us.
And the CAF does have things like sushi and sandwiches as well as the yeah. So it's definitely edible and will not kill you.
Yeah.
Says the ED physician. Right.
Ivana has asked about how many PGY1 positions there are. Traditionally, there are 21 here. I'm going to look for nodding. We might be getting a couple of extra this year because there's a blowout, so it might be 23.
I've tried to make it.
And I'm suckers as well.
Yeah, and I tried to make it 23 last year and got told off. Because they asked like how many positions do you have, and I was like, well, if you don't, let's have an extra couple. Yeah.
We have aimed for another couple this year, actually.
We're actually doing it properly this time. Right. What is it like finding accommodation? Are there house officer flats that have passed down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely flats that get handed around, like registrars are moving or house officers moving to different regions. Yeah, I mean, it's not super easy, but I don't know anyone that really had a lot of difficulty.
There's a Facebook group, isn't there?
Yeah, I think outside of the handing down flats, it's quite difficult. So I'll try and get in the know as quickly as possible.
But I think it also depends because everyone wants to live at the Mount, right? So if you don't want to live at the Mount, you have more opportunities. If you want to live at the Mount, like I've literally moved 3 times to get closer to the Mount. But yeah, on the doctor's page, often people are posting like their rentals or they're moving out of places. A bit easier to get a spot in a flat rather than like a whole flat itself. So if people are open to moving into a flat with current doctors already, then that's a bit easier. But I mean, once you get the job, like we can always tell you what the Facebook page is and you can jump on and say you're moving and you're looking for a place.
It's only because it's summer, which trying to get in the Mount is really difficult. And if you're coming out of that time, it's actually a lot easier to get anywhere. The next one is, what is the best? So Asha Chikel is asking, who's the best contact person to organise a visit? At the moment is Donna.
Donna, could you please put your email address in the chat if you wouldn't mind?
Absolutely, I'll do that. I've actually got, oh, sorry, I'll take myself off. I'll put myself on video. I've got a couple lined up. There's actually one this Friday at 10:30 that already have 5 coming to. So if anyone wants to jump in on that one, if they're able to get down, I will put my email in there as well. And I have another one in May. I haven't got a date set yet, and I've got another one on the 10th of June. So those are just set dates, but by all means contact me, donna.watkins@BOPDHB. I'll put it in the chat. And I'm more than welcome to meet with you Monday to Friday to work in with your schedule. I know some have got to get flights if they're coming from Otago. So by all means, make contact with me and we'll arrange a day and time that suits.
Okay. Thanks, Donna. The next one is, what's the ratio of stones to RDA amongst PGY 1-2? Of course, we can't actually really answer that one. It's a personal choice to you as to which one you join. We will employ you and work with you as helpfully, whichever organisation you are. However, I would suggest joining one or other. I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Can't join both.
Yeah. Don't join both. Is it bad? If you had to describe what your ideal job candidate would be like and what kind of characteristics you would want them to have,
Look around the room.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be anybody from anywhere doing anything.
I want someone to have researched this hospital and this region, what our morals and standards and values are, and then to be a reflection of that. Because that before we became a region, we had the care values, which is compassion, all in one team, responsiveness and excellence. We have Te Toia Haurangi in terms of our Māori work plan, and these are the ideals that we try to embody, and we want you to do the same thing. And so that's very much what we want in terms of what we're looking for in terms of an ideal candidate.
Yeah.
we basically want you to want to be here, to be part of our whānau, and actually to know that what it is to fit in.
And that's okay if you want to come to surf, but you actually still have a job, and we need to know that you're gonna, when you're here between the hours of what and what, you will put in 100%. And so it's that mix of all of that.
That's that. Yeah.
That's a CMO level.
That's
it.
Well,
for a minute, nailing it.
Yeah.
and I think we also are looking for people that we are very collegial here. We really like people that fit in with that collegiality.
The thing about that is it's actually quite a variety. There's a large variety of people that have been here. You know, we've had people, Olympians, we've had, you know, people who like nerds, research people. It's like from all the way. There's not a characteristic apart from the aim to be here to learn, to get better, and to give back.
Yeah. Be willing to put in the work to grow.
And parking. The best thing about parking, from a planet point of view, we should all be biking anyway. We have long cycling, and we have
we have showers on site. So I don't drive to work anymore. I only ride.
Because I live in Bethlehem. If it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for me. Aside from that, there's about 4 sets of staff parking. So you don't actually have to walk far from where we are. I'm going to start biking in summer.
It's also free parking.
Oh, free parking.
Free parking. It costs at Waitemata, it costs like everywhere else, but free.
Free food, free parking, free training. The favorite 4-letter F word is free.
In terms of what the general interest for Tauranga is, we looked at how many CVs?
400. I read them all.
Yeah, so that's 400 people who listed us on ACE. I would say that if you are thinking of putting Tauranga as a backup, I would suggest not doing that. But you've got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And unfortunately, could you give us an idea of how many people are on the Zoom tonight? It doesn't actually tell you that because some people will need the information from it. So and
because it's recorded as well, other people can look at it later. So look, there is always interest. We always last year we listed our top 21 and we got all 21. So so we managed to make a reasonable. I can say that in front of these guys now.
It's a clear, obviously, like nailed it.
But we do
also
all of the cover letters, especially. So if you want to come here, please put it in your cover letter.
I'll just reiterate the importance of Diane's comment about that, because there were people that it was really hard thinking that you weren't actually putting it first, and I really had to go to bat sometimes being like, I'm pretty sure this person wants to be here. And also you got to realize there might be like 24 students at the clinical school from Auckland, but we kind of want to take a variety of people. You don't have to be a TI at Tauranga to get a job there. And we want to mix of Otago and Auckland students. So unfortunately, it does mean that certain people, even if you were placed at Tauranga, you might not get shortlisted for an interview. Doesn't mean you don't get ranked, but it is a very hard process. And then it's really hard to rank 36 people that we interview or whatever we choose down to 21. Like, it's a very difficult process sitting on it. So just make sure you cover letter is like, I want to be here. I'm kind of like, this is my main preference. And these are the reasons why, and these are the skills and attributes that I will bring. Because that's what is used as your basis to be like, we're going to shortlist.
Any other questions?
I just want to add too, don't be discouraged if you're not a TI here, because I wasn't as well. Still, I know it's a competitive place to go, but if you really want to come here and you're not a TI here, don't let that kind of discourage you from putting it first.
Absolutely
Stick to your
right.
guns.
Yeah,
Oh, great, Sydney.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put your email in the chat.
Just, Donna, are you able to put your email in the chat?
Oh, I thought I did. I'll put it in again.
Oh, I think you have to choose to everyone.
Oh, she has put it in the chat. She's just not put it in the Q&A.
Just for us.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. We've got this.
Hotels and
Oh no, it doesn't let us.
hosts.
Yeah.
Doesn't let it. It's only the chat only lets us go to hosts and panelists.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did. Yeah, I definitely did put it in.
But yeah, it is here for us.
Georgina, are you able to put that from the our chat into the Q's and A's?
Yes, absolutely.
Can they see the Q's and A's?
Yeah, they can see the Q's and A's.
We can't even. I don't know, anyway.
Maybe just
Or even
right
yeah.
under that.
Oh, they're asking for.
That's it. But I think they go as soon as
Oh,
they.
okay, you've done it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Any other questions?
Yeah. Perfect.
Does that mean
Great,
we're
what a great session.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we'll close off with a karakia now.
Well, thank you everyone for everyone who's listened, everyone who's been here in the room, everyone who's had the poor luck to listen to me talking so much. Mihi kau ana ki a koutou katoa, me karakia tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te ure, whakataka te hau ki te tonga kia mā kina ki te kia mā taratara ki tai, kia hi ake ana te atakura, he tio, he hoka, he hauhi, hu, a tihei, mauri ora.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.